A yoga guru has been ordered to pay a $6.4 million order from a jury in punitive damages because of sexual assault allegations and other issues that he's facing. Now, the person in question is probably someone you've heard of already. It's Bikram Chowdhury, who is the founder of Bikram Yoga. And so there have been allegations against him for a very long time, but now there's finally a decision in the civil case. So let me give you the details on that. So a Los Angeles jury on Tuesday awarded more than $6.4 million in the first of a series of lawsuits against the yoga guru Bikram Chowdhury, in which women accuse the founder of the popular yoga style of sexual misconduct. So Bikram yoga style, of course, it's named after him. By the way, fun trivia for you. He tried to copyright Bikram yoga. That way, if anyone tries to teach it, he has to approve that person before they do it.
In other words, get paid.
Yeah, and guess what? He didn't get that copyright, thankfully. Now, the case involved a lawsuit by his one-time legal advisor, who he actually brought here from India. And she alleges that Chowdhury sexually harassed her while she worked for him and that she was fired after she began investigating claims that he had raped a yoga student. Now, she filed a completely different lawsuit, and she got money for that, a little under $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, now, hard to determine here what actually happened. Why? Wait a minute. Now, you just had this huge lawsuit that came out against him. They ruled already, right? It's a civil lawsuit. Now, in the criminal cases, Los Angeles County prosecutors said there was no corroborating evidence and did not prosecute.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it a little bit more questionable. Like, I don't mean to throw doubt on the women who just won, right? Mm-hmm. They won. But I want you to understand, give you the context here, because criminal and civil cases have different standards, right? Yeah. So in a criminal case, it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So one way of looking at that is the jury has to be 99% sure. In this case, there was no jury because the prosecutors thought apparently, for whatever reason, they thought there's no way we're going to get them to believe there's 99% chance that it happened. But oftentimes that's because they don't think they could win the case, not because it didn't necessarily happen.
Right.
So now in a civil case, you just have to have a preponderance of the evidence, which means I have 51% chance that it likely happened, right?
That's it's interesting because obviously the burden of proof is very different when it comes to a civil case. But if it's 51% he did it, $6.4 million is a massive amount of money in punitive damages.
Yeah, that's a little hard to swallow at 51%. But in this case, by the way, don't get confused. That's just the standard of evidence and a rough rule for it. Mm-hmm. The jury was very much convinced, and in fact, they hugged the person who brought the case. You got details on that?
Yeah, I do. So they actually hugged his former legal analyst because they felt that she went through quite a bit with him. So she claims a lot of different instances of sexual harassment. She does not claim that she got raped by him, so let me be absolutely clear about that. She claims that he would force her to meet in his hotel in order to talk about certain things that made her uncomfortable. One time he was laying in bed, and she alleges that he said, "Come lay in the bed with me and let's have a conversation." Apparently, this is all alleged. He pulled his penis out and started peeing in front of her, and she was like, "What the hell? I'm like working with you. I don't want to see that." So little things like that. And so these stories were told to the jury, and eventually the jury decided that she had been through a lot, and one of the jurors hugged her. Now, there's another element of this that I thought was hilarious. So under cross-examination, Chowdhury admitted to keeping a fleet of up to 40 luxury cars, including Bentleys, Ferraris, and Rolls Royces, in a Van Nuys garage. Van Nuys is in the San Fernando Valley.
So the context here is they said, okay, now you're going to have to pay up. And he says, oh, I'm broke. I mean, because of all the lawsuits and everything like that, I didn't get to copyright this technique, which is not really much of a technique if you ask me. Anyway, and by the way, my wife went to Bikram yoga, so she loved it for a while, let's be fair. He's like, I'm broke. And they're like, wait, dude, you have 40 cars in a garage in Van Nuys, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, etc. And so he says, no. That was part of an effort to start a school, the Bikram Auto Engineering School for Children.
No. So the jury started like snickering and laughing when he said that because they didn't believe him. And it seems like they have good intuition because the governor's office said that there was no such plan.
Of course there's no such plan. kids can't even drive. And you're going to teach your kids, disadvantaged kids, you're going to teach them how to drive on a Bentley? No, you're not. That's the most obvious lie of all time. On that lie alone, I'd be like, guilty. Now I don't believe anything you say.
Yeah, yeah.